when did you inform your family you had become Muslim? And at what point did you discover that they were, because up to now you said you had never consciously met a Muslim in America.
Right.
So at what point did you finally get to meet Muslims here in America?
I told my family slowly over maybe a year. One by one. At first I was getting comfortable with myself, just getting used to being Muslim. And actually the very first Muslim when I came back was my boss at my work. I hadn't really realized it, but he was Muslim. So when I came back and I told him I had become Muslim, he was very happy. And he told me congratulations. And that was the first Muslim I met in
And
the
your
US.
boss at all this time, he had never ever mentioned, you didn't know about him being Muslim, and he never mentioned to you anything about Islam?
I never really thought about it, and we never discussed it.
Right.
He's from Pakistan, but it's just not something that entered my mind. And we never talked about anything related to religion.
And the first time you talked about it, when you told him you had to become Muslim?
Right.
MashaAllah.
Because then, of course, I realized that he's Muslim. And I told him. And he was very happy. And he told his mom, who was back in Pakistan, and she was also really happy. So that was the first Muslim I really met in the U.S. So I told my family slowly, and then...
Did anybody in your family, anybody's reaction kind of surprise you when you told them you had become Muslim?
Actually, I was surprised in general. Most of my family was very relaxed about it, which I didn't expect. My uncle, when I told him that my mother's brother, when I told him that I became Muslim, he said that he wasn't surprised. He kind of expected it, which surprised me because I didn't expect it. So I reflected on it later, and I thought perhaps because I've been traveling so much and the people I was friends with, it didn't surprise him. But it was a shock for me.
Right.
So, but then when I came back, you asked me also
about when you met the Muslim community here.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, interesting thing is one of the women I met in Qatar, she was originally from College Park, Maryland, College Park, Maryland area. So after I became Muslim, I didn't know it, but she was in touch with her family and friends here, and told them that there was this new sister who was from this area and to get in touch with her. So one of her friends got in touch with me and introduced me to the Muslims in this area, and that's how I met people here.
Right. Right. And how did you get in? How did you get involved in the community and the Dawah activities here?
After I met her friends here, then I was introduced to this community, and I started volunteering because in my heart I was like, you know, I grew up so many years and I really never met a Muslim, not that I knew of, and so I thought I should try to help other people meet Muslims. I mean, just so you can see that they're right here in front of you.
So do you think, like you were before you accepted Islam, there are other or many Americans who walk here and there and don't realize people they're talking to or around are Muslim?
Exactly. You don't always realize it. Like here in this area, there's a lot of Muslims. But, like for example, in this area, there's a lot of Muslims. So when I go out and I wear hijab or I wear niqab, people don't really ask me a lot of questions. They're mostly used to it around here. But if I go visit my family, I get a lot of questions, just basic questions. But I go to the grocery store or to any store, people ask me like why I cover. In the summertime, they ask me if I'm hot. These type of questions. It's just very common, very basic questions because they've never seen a Muslim in their whole life. So I know there's a lot of people like me. So I thought I wanted to do what I can to help with that.
Now about the hijab and the niqab, just a bit of the thought process on deciding to wear it for yourself. And was there anybody who encouraged you or urged you to dress the way, or was this your only decision which only came from you?
Honestly, for these things, they come from the heart, and from me. So it was from my heart. The hijab is something that as my understanding is that you should wear it as a Muslim woman. So I did not wear hijab initially. When I first came back, I was kind of getting settled, getting used to being, like praying and these things. And then after some time, there comes a point, for me, there came a point where the desire to wear it was stronger than anything else. So then I started wearing hijab. And I was honestly, sometimes I was nervous. Some days I was fine going out of my house wearing hijab, and some days I was nervous. And the beautiful thing is, the days I was nervous, those days, someone would come and say salams to me. And on the other days when I was comfortable, maybe no one told me salams. But regularly, whenever I was a little bit scared, a little bit shy, a little bit nervous, someone would say salams, and I would feel so relaxed and comfortable the whole day. So I was like, this is from Allah, like encouraging me to. So Allah encouraged me maybe, but no people.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
And like I said before, here in the Dar es Salaam Dawah Center, how did you become involved here? What's your position here?
Okay.
And what's the mission and objectives and some of the services provided by this Dawah Center?
After I met people in this community, I started volunteering with the Dawah Center. And I volunteered first, I think, with a Dawah table. At different events here, at different local events, we have Dawah tables, info tables, where we just provide information about Islam. We're there, we can answer questions. It's part of our overall goal to provide accurate information about Islam to everybody, Muslims or people who are curious about Islam. So I started volunteering with those because I thought I wanted to help talk about Islam to other people. And then after I had volunteered here for a few months, a period of time, an opening became available, and I was accepted for that position. So now I currently am the coordinator for the Dawah Center, and I organize the different activities and initiatives that we do here. And our overall goal is to, like I said, provide accurate information about Islam and to be a resource for people who are new to Islam. And we try to do this with a combination of classes and open houses, as well as outreach activities such as volunteering for different events in the area.
Do you find that there are a lot of new Muslims in this area?
There are a lot of people who take Shahada. There are a lot of people who take Shahada in this area, a lot of people who are new Muslims, a lot of people who are Muslim who are coming back to their Islam. It's a mix. So, and we just what we try to do, we have a weekly class that is called Beliefs and Practices of Islam. And initially this class had started as a class just for new Muslims. But then we saw that there was a need, like there's so many different people who are just wanting to learn about Islam, so we expanded it a little bit. And now it's about 80 people a week come for that class. And it covers different points of Islam in depth a little bit. And it appeals to Muslims who have been Muslim their whole life, people who are just new Muslims, and it's a way for people to get to meet each other.
And now in your outreach services, I'm sure people ask you from time to come speak about certain things. And so if someone invites you and says, look, we have some misconceptions about, or we want to know some more about Muslim women and women in Islam, and we want you to come to talk to us, what would be some of the points that you would make sure you covered in that talk?
Some major points, major misconceptions are that women in Islam are oppressed, or that people force us to wear, I mean, maybe it happens sometimes, but in general it doesn't, it's not true, that people force you to dress a certain way, or that you cannot work outside of your home. That's something just recently that someone mentioned to me, that, or that you shouldn't be educated. Like some of these things are very common misconceptions. So we explain, no, like, you can see me, and there are a lot of people like me. I'm not unusual. So, and in fact, in Dar es Salaam, most of the, a lot of the programs and most of the teachers are women. So.
Okay, and about the growth of Islam in America, even though, like you said, there are a lot of stereotypes about Muslim women, do you still find that there are still a lot of women coming to Islam?
I think, from what I've read, that the majority of the people who are coming to Islam are women. Because the reality of Islam is opposite, is the exact opposite. Like, women's rights in Islam are very strong, and women are highly respected in Islam. And so when someone open-mindedly studies Islam, they discover this, that they have a lot of rights and their position is very elevated. So they fall in love with Islam, and they become Muslim.
Okay, Sister, well, I thank you very much for spending some time with us and sharing your story about how you came to Islam. And alhamdulillah, we see almost immediately after becoming Muslim, you wanted to call other people or inform other people about what the realities are and the truth is about Islam. And inshallah, Allah, He will reward you and increase you in your efforts and make you successful. But before we conclude, Sister, I would just like to ask you, as a relatively new Muslimah, what do you feel is the future outlook for Islam here in America?
I think the outlook here is very bright. Islam is more well known than it was when I was growing up, when I was younger. And people naturally are curious, so they want to learn about Islam. So I see it very positive, that people are going to understand Islam more and be more open. Even if they're not Muslim, they're going to be open-minded to living with Muslims and understanding Islam.
Sister, thank you very much for sitting with us and sharing your story about how you came to Islam. And alhamdulillah that we have many women like you around America who are involved in the dawah work and spreading the correct and proper understanding about Islam. And I hope that our viewers are able to get a bit more insight into what life is like for Muslim women and Muslims in general here in the United States of America. And I invite you to join me as I continue to travel throughout the world of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha